in my own defense, I've never been late before. And thank you, Chris, for letting me know what was going on. I gotta say, guys, I'm fired up today, especially with what's going on with this interview between Elon Musk and Donald Trump later. It's absolutely insane to me that we have the European Commission trying to interfere in an election. My mind is utterly blown. But let's get to the root of what this stream is about. Hey, what's up, Luca Automata? Sorry, guys, for literally making some of you wait 15 minutes. My bad. I won't do it again, I promise. But yeah, so let's see how we're doing today. Let's just start digging in here a little bit before we jump in all the way. So let's look at the heat map and see where we're sitting. NVIDIA, amazing day. Decent amount of red. If we look here, let's see how crypto did too. Crypto was green. Ethereum up 4.47%. Isn't that a shocker? That's really doing good. I don't know if there's new news that I missed on it. Let's jump over to the S&P real quick. Can you show us how you plan to scale out of hood calls eventually? Yeah, we can talk to that. MB, Chris, Federal, did you actually text him? No, he called me. He's my buddy, man. All right, so the S&P basically flat on the day, which is crazy. It changed by 0.23 points. So 0% change on the day. That's actually pretty phenomenal. It'll be interesting to see if we roll over tomorrow or if we end up going higher. Let's look. Today we didn't have really anything in regard to economic data. We had consumer inflation expectations. I got a couple things I'm going to show you on that. Otherwise, it was a pretty light day. I also need to look at this report later. Tomorrow, though, is going to be a lot more. Sorry, I've got Great Britain in here, too. I've been following a lot of countries lately. So tomorrow we'll be looking at PPI. That will be the big one. And then we have inflation data coming in Wednesday. So the days are going to heat up in regard to economic data. But right now, they're a little boring and we don't have a lot going on. So it's tomorrow that we can really expect some moves. Hey, Jesse, can you talk about your scale out? Oh, we already did that one. Let me see here. Cut out like 5 times. Now good. Okay. Hopefully it isn't cutting out anymore. I do believe I fixed my internet issues. So these Kodak all good on my side. Maybe issues with your connection. Yes. Good. Seedless says choppy audio. Smash the like button. I don't know. I don't think it's me. I think it's you guys this time. All right. So the NASDAQ actually ended up 0.16%. So this is a pretty good sign, I would say. Again, we're above the dot 618. I need to move this stuff over, but I don't hate that at all. So it outperformed the S&P. Let's look at the Russell and see how things went. Down 0.91%. So we're not risk on yet, or the Russell would be starting to outperform because rates are coming down. I do believe that outperformance is coming, though. I still strongly believe that, and I'm still going to side with Tom Lee in the meantime. And I'm going to show you some data I think that'll help understand that. Let me see. Working perfect for me. Thank you, Alex. Michael Fan, are you in MicroStrategy stock or call options right now? I've got MicroStrategy. I've got a little bit of. Let me see. I don't have any calls on MicroStrategy. I didn't go there. I don't think it's good. It's worth it right now. I do have stock though, and I want to say I have like 150,000, maybe 160,000 in MicroStrategy. I lightened the load a little bit a while ago. Anyway. Let's proceed ahead. We've got more to look at. The dollar. The dollar. So again, the dollar actually flat on the day. Kind of weakened a little bit. Nothing crazy. I want to look and see how the Japanese yen and how the Chinese yuan are doing. So the dollar gained strength against the Japanese yen. We don't want to see too much of that, but we're still quite a ways away from where we're at. The Chinese yuan. Yeah, China's having some interesting stuff going on in the bond market too. So the dollar gained strength against that too. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see gold. Last I checked, gold was looking like it was going to hit a new breakout. And it is. I'm going to have to slow down my making fun of gold. And I want to talk to some people here. So I've been seeing people go around and ask like, oh, hey, I've been told that in the last 3 years, that gold has outperformed Bitcoin. Yeah, that's true. You cherry pick that shit and you'll come out to that number. But from the tippity top bottom on gold in January of 2016, it's went up 135%. But if we just look at where it was at the high of, 2011, mid to late 2011, it's only up 28%. So again, you can cherry pick data all day long, and I'm going to pull up Bitcoin just to piss some gold bugs off. Let me actually do this. I'll do BTC. It'll be better. Not CME. Let me see if there's a good one I can work off of. I'll do Coinbase. That's probably good enough. So yeah, let's just look here. So gold is down here for returns, and let's just change the time frame. So gold is down here. Let's just sort it. Gold is down here, right? Gold right here. Okay, and this is going back to the beginning time frame of 2019. So gold is up 67%. Bitcoin's up 546. Let's go back further. Let's go back to 2017. So we're in, or I'm sorry, the end of 2016. We're now at gold up 94% and Bitcoin up 2,300%. Let's go back further. We're at gold, our Bitcoin up 17,310% versus gold being up 98%. So I think you get the gist. And Coinbase only goes back so far. But gold is not outcompeting Bitcoin if you're not dumb and you go back far enough and look at a longer range of time, which is what we do when we want to understand the truth. Glass, thank you for joining, my friend. I'm just so disorganized today. And then tonight, guys, I'll be hosting a YouTube session for anybody who wants to see it and get my commentary with Elon Musk and Donald Trump in the interview today. I'm going to be giving my 2 cents probably in between stream crashes if they happen. So if you guys want to know my political thoughts and how it ties in with the economics of what they're talking about, it should be a fun stream. It's one I'm incredibly excited about today. I don't want to get too political, but again, very excited. All right, so again, gold only up 28% from where it was in 2011, 13 years ago. I'm just going to leave it there. Moving on. But the gold market is sniffing something out. There's something interesting happening, and that part is fascinating to me. All right, so oil up 3.39%. I think this is probably with things going on in the Middle East, but I haven't heard anything lately. So if you guys have any recent posts, throw them out there and we'll talk about it. Kane says he'll be there for the Trump Elon tonight. That's awesome. Thanks, man. What time is the stream? 7 o'clock Central Time, so 8 Eastern, or 5 o'clock if you're on the West Coast. And then I don't know about other countries. I'm not going there. C-List, wish the Fed had cut 0.25%, then waited for data points. We're unsure. I don't think it's going to matter, honestly, man. I think the Fed's cutting. We know that for sure. And I think that the market is going to explode. Have you ever looked at Galaxy PHF? Is that like Galaxy Digital? And I don't know what the other one is. Let me know what they are. The Move Index. So this is kind of nice. We're seeing bond volatility starting to drop, at least in the United States. Not so much for China. The 2-year bond. Let's see here. So it rolled over a little bit more today, about 1%. You can see where it kind of cascaded out of our rising wedge. I still think it's going to go down here. Hopefully it does it slowly because that gives the stock market the ability to continue to rise. The yield inversion curve. We are still underneath, haven't uninverted on the daily, and it looks like we're still keeping our distance even though we jumped up 4.35% on the day. So nothing crazy there yet. Let's see how people are doing. Let's see what the pull-call ratio is. Are people betting short on the market? Whoa, a lot of people jumping out of puts. That's fascinating. People are jumping out of puts. So we're seeing bond volatility drop. We're seeing people getting out of puts because they're not sure that the market's going to drop. And then what are they telling us about the VIX again? I think I did a post about this. I just want to pull it up real quick and see where it ended. So volatility index within the stock market is telling us what? It ended up 1.77% on the day. But if you look here, if we go back, I'm going to go back a couple of months. If you look and we spread this out, what I find fascinating is the look at previous time frames where we had this kind of high, right? So if we go back in the VIX's entire history, we had the third highest level going all the way back to when it started in 1990. So we're going back almost 35 years, and this is the third highest level in 35 years, and we're seeing the strongest drop on the VIX that we've ever seen. And this candle hasn't ended. So, but we can say if we went back through here and looked at weeklies, we could say that same thing. I mean, it's a massive drop that we saw right here on the weekly candle. So it's interesting. To me, it screams that the volatility is slowing down, both within bonds and the stock market, and people are getting rid of their bets to try and hedge down for a big collapse. And if we're not going down and everybody's getting, chilling out and we're stabilizing, the oscillation means it wants us to come back up. So that's where I'm at in my headspace right now. Tonight, too, we will be pulling up Bitcoin and having that showing in the ticker and the side while we're listening to this conversation on the biggest part of the screen. So we will see what kind of fluctuations we might see in the market based upon the conversations that are being had. For non-Americans, when is Elon Trump stream? Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yep, it's actually 3.5 hours from now. So 3.5 hours, 7 o'clock Central. I'm not sure what that is, UTC. So it's coming. It's coming quick. All right, let's do this. We're going to jump back over to economic data again. Actually, before we get there, let's look at a few things. We're going to look at fear and greed. We're going to look at the CME. We're just going to jump through all of these, right? So right over here, I'm seeing extreme fear. Let me refresh. See if we're still there. Extreme fear at 23 on the stock market. That's great. I love that. I love that it's still at this level. Let's see timeline wise how long we've been sitting here. This is great. So much lower and hanging out here for a decent amount of time. Whereas we were bouncier at the end of October, which is great because that's where we started to see the market start to rip heading into 2024. So that's not bad at all. All right, so we know that we've got tons of fear there. Let's look at the crypto index. So still at extreme fear, but it's jumped a little bit. But again, if we look at the levels here and we go out as far as we can, it's nice that we're sitting down here. This is definitely, if you go back historically and look over here, there's not a lot of time historically going all the way back to 2018 that we spend down in this range. So I would be excited for that too, and the potential of going higher. I think you just got to be long this market right now, guys. We're looking at an intervention where we don't see an apocalypse right now and I should say in the real economy. We're not seeing an apocalypse yet. We're seeing some higher unemployment, but that's artificially inflated because we have so many illegal immigrants taking jobs from people that had them before, because they can do it for less, and whether it's legal or not, people will employ them. And other people that were working there they'll either keep them on or fire them and keep the low-cost employee. And this isn't just me saying this. The person who created the SAM rule agrees with this thesis, along with a lot of other smart people. So right now, though, this is interesting. I said this was going to happen. So the current rate is the 525 to 550, but we're seeing a 50% chance now of dropping it by one rate cut, and then a 49.5% at doing two. But that's been moving. It was 3. We had 3 on the table at one point. I think, though, that we could continue to see this change to one rate cut for September. And keep in mind, this is September 18th, and it's already August 12th. So it's only for a little over 4 weeks, guys. 4.5 weeks, and we're going to see this. So just keep in mind, this isn't that far off, and it's coming fast. So again, tomorrow, the big stuff, PPI, and then the next day we're going to get into, on Wednesday, we'll get into inflation-related data. Let's see what else we have here. GDP growth rates are going to be big. Just a ton of data, too. All right, that's Britain. Let's see here. Philly Fed, initial jobless claims, industrial production, manufacturing, a lot of good stuff. This is going to be a decent week, again, for economic data. So this should be fun. Let's jump over here. I want to go into my U.S. economy bookmark. Again, gold, I think gold is actually closing at its highest level in history, which is interesting. Audio is gone. I don't think so. Can anybody else hear me? It's a real possibility, though, that the Fed does not cut in September and buys back. No, I don't think that's true. I think they're definitely cutting in September. Andres, for my European friends, Amsterdam time, Tuesday. Okay, sweet. Thank you for communicating all that, guys. NASDAQ versus Russell once the Fed starts cutting, please. If the Fed starts cutting the indice, that's probably going to benefit the most, as long as it's not in major trouble. Audio is good. Thank you, guys. As long as it's not in major, like small businesses aren't in major trouble, which I don't think they're going to be, because we're seeing earnings going up. We're seeing growth still, guys. The world isn't falling apart quite yet. And again, if unemployment is flashing false signals because of way too many illegal immigrants crossing the border and getting thrown into the job market, pulling jobs away from other people that now are registering as unemployed, that's not the end of the world, at least over the short term. But yeah, what was my thought? So a couple things. Let me jump into this real quick. This is from my buddy Caleb Franz, and please go follow him. He was looking for 50K followers. He's real close. He was within 100. Hopefully he got there. He's a good dude. He's not there yet. So if you guys see this Caleb Franzen, follow him, please, and get him over 50K. He deserves it. He's a good dude. Now, here's what I want to show you. Let me go back. So under here, he says, I don't care who you are or what your bias is. The fact of the matter is that earnings are rising and beating expectations. Then recognize that forward 12-month earnings expectations are rising. What does that mean? Fundamentals are improving and asset prices are reflecting that. So if you look here from Sam Rowe, great guy, great analyst, an economist, but he said second quarter estimates revised higher as earnings beat estimates. Look at this increase that we're looking at here. And EPS estimates. Like, look at this. So again, the sky is not falling, in my opinion, at all. So I think it's very important that people realize this, and that if the sky isn't falling and the Fed is lowering rates, I think the Russell, again, what Tom Lee's been saying for a while, is going to be one of the biggest benefactors. It might not be right now. It's, again, right now, if we look over here, the rut got hit pretty hard compared to the other indices, and it's had quite the retracement. But I think it's going to consolidate here, and it's going to go back up, and it's going to benefit more from the rest, and it's going to be the game on trade again. Because, again, small businesses are the businesses that have gotten most destroyed while rates were raised, and they're going to be the businesses that benefit the most from rates coming down. All right, Steve Burns said, rate cuts late in a good economy are bullish. So if you think this is a good economy, even though we have pressures on the bottom 1/3 of the populace, then you should be bullish. If you think that we're in a slowing economy, then that's historically bearish. And again, the timeline and lag for this, even if we do turn bearish and the economy starts to slow, could take 6-12 months where you could see this thing melt up before it melts down. And I think that's what so many people miss out on and don't understand. Caleb had another good one today. Again, follow him, please. Inflation expectations are dropping like a rock. He was showing Nick Tamaros, who, if this is what is Nicky Leaks, I think is what Real Me Kevin calls him, because he's so intertwined with the Fed. But he said New York Fed consumers 3-year ahead of inflation expectations fell by 0.6 pp to 2.3% in July, hitting a new series low since the survey's inception in June of 2013. Look at this. Does this scream inflation to you guys? Does this scream inflation? Inflation is gone. The Fed will cut rates. And like I said, as long as the economy isn't falling apart, we're going to see small businesses benefit from it. That's my take. China Beige Book said a BRICS currency is not coming. Now, I just want to look here. All you people that were so big, see, you're going to find out over time that I'm right about a whole bunch of things, right? And anybody who's been following me for a long time, like my buddy Chris Federal back in my Facebook days, he knows that I've been right on way more things than I'm wrong about. I've been screaming from the rooftops for the last several years that a BRICS currency is a joke, that BRICS is a fucking joke, and that it's quite the opposite. And in that time, we've seen the dollar gain strength, and we've seen the amount of trading in the dollar remain strong and even go up. And if you look here, millionaires on the move, top 10 countries for projected net arrivals and departures. Look at this. Look at how many millionaires are leaving China and the new communist China, which I like to call the UK. Look at even India, how many leave. They're leaving India for different reasons. They're leaving India because they just don't see the infrastructure and the opportunity there. Thank you, Chris, for the 100. I appreciate it, man. They don't see the opportunity there, and they're just not sure when they're going to get their ducks in a row to be able to create it. So they're like, fuck it, I'm going to the U.S., I'm going to some other place, I'm going to the United Arab Emirates, I'm going to Singapore, I'm going to Canada, I'm going any other place where I think I'll have more opportunity. And I would actually argue, especially Australia and Canada, are probably some of the greatest flight of China to Western countries in the world. That's where a lot of those guys are going. But in Singapore, definitely Singapore. So again, you're looking at this exodus of capital. This is the reality of it. BRICS was bullshit. This is real. To the almost 300 people here, can you guys please hit the like? It helps me immensely. Also, feel free to chat, throw stuff out. I'll try and read it. and talk about it. All right, Robert Scoble said he has the most patents at Microsoft, thousands of patents, double the number of the second person. In other words, he knows what he is talking about. This is not the economy, but this is something that definitely pertains heavily to the economy, and it's why I'm bringing it up right now. And so I want you guys to see this. So this is Microsoft's Chief Scientific Officer, Eric Horvitz, says AI systems are already impressively creative, but that riding an exponential curve that will leave no one in any doubt as to their creativity in the next 18 months. And you have Elon Musk saying that Grok 2, that's in beta and that some people are getting right now, has the ability to generate memes off of what we're typing. Can you imagine how cool that's going to be for X? Also, Grok 3, Elon said, would be the smartest artificial intelligence on Earth. And this man is telling you that these things are happening at an exponential rate, and he's got thousands of patents with Microsoft. So listen to him.
I believe these systems are impressively creative, and they will become even more so, even more imaginative over time. And I'll also ask the question, if you say that system is just combining ideas of various kinds, isn't that what we do? Our most creative folks, even when we're thinking out of the box, we're combining thinking patterns and methods of various kinds in the same way. I would say to everybody, even the people who are naysayers right now about creativity in these machines, hold on to your seats, because we are on a curve. It's likely an exponential right now in terms of capabilities we're seeing. And check back with me in 18 months.
18 months.
Just 18 months?
Yes.
Is there something specific you want to tell us about?
I just think that's the pace for right now. I think we all have a sense that we're coming up onto a new plateau.
Yeah.
Like, well, isn't this cool? What do we do with this? Material science, bioscience, this is fabulous. But we're actually riding a different kind of wave right now.
He's 100% right. We're riding an S curve in AI. Think about which companies benefit the most from an S curve in AI. There's one that I can really think of that benefits the most. Can you guys think who that is? Can anybody throw into chat who they might think that is? And again, I like companies like Palantir and these others. People love to talk about it. I got to say, the Cyber Mug gets about as dirty as my Cybertruck. That's a little disappointing. But that's why I wrapped it. And yeah, on that note, I'm going to say that Tesla, yes, thank you, is going to be one of the biggest benefactors of this. And this brilliant man, Eric Horvitz, this person who has thousands of patents at Microsoft, is telling you that people have no clue how powerful this is going to become in the months ahead. Yeah, Palantir's out there for sure. I agree. I only hold a share, so I don't talk it up too much. But I do love Palantir, and I post all the time with the stuff that Amit and Arnie and the rest of those guys do. And I made $600K off of Palantir, so it helped me out a lot. And I love the company. I think they're going to do great things. But Tesla is the one that hasn't went up. Like, right? Like, Palantir's up what? What is Palantir up right now? Let's just go back. And again, it's down. It's 2.5%, 6%. Like, of course, I've been saying for a while that we could get up to the 30 range right over here. And I don't even know if we closed the gap over here. I don't even think we got really close to it. We might have closed that gap. Yeah, we did. We closed this gap over here. Isn't that poetic that we closed that gap and then we dropped on Palantir? That's poetic. Anyway, this is a normal place to have a rejection. But the thing I want to say here is, this did go up 430 fucking %. Okay? Tesla hasn't done that, right? Tesla hasn't done that. Tesla's barely went anywhere. And yet Tesla, on a multitude of levels, is ready to break out. And what is it up in that roughly same period of time? How crazy has Tesla gotten during that time? It's up 42%. So Palantir is up 10 times as much as Tesla. So again, I'm just going to throw it out there, like out of the two over the short term, and like by short term I mean year or two, which one seems like it might be a little bit cheaper? I'm going to say it's Tesla, and that's why I bought more today. And that's why I'm going to continue to buy more. And let me see here real quick. And we'll look at that. I did buy, so I bought, what did I buy today? I bought Cypher, I bought CleanSpark, I bought Tesla, and I bought Mara. Mara was down like 9-10% on the day. The CleanSpark calls were down like 10%. Cypher was down like 6%. The Tesla calls were down like 10%. So it was a nice little day for buying, and I'm ready to do more tomorrow. But again, war scenarios favor Palantir more than Tesla. Yeah, totally. That's legit. If we go to war over that time, I think that China isn't ready for war, and that's the only war I care about. Plus, I think if anything, the narrative might shift, and if Trump gets elected, which I think he's going to. If you guys haven't watched my political stuff, you should watch it. I go over polling data and and the truth. I give people the truth about what's actually happening in the polls. So if you guys haven't seen that stuff, you need to see it. I think Trump wins. And the reason I'm following this so closely isn't just because I'm super passionate about the fact that I think he needs to win, because we've got entire portions of the world trying to censor him from even being interviewed on X today. Like, it's not just that. It's the fact that when he does win, he's pro-business. He wants vast amounts of energy growth to reduce costs and bring down costs of goods. And he's pro-Bitcoin, he's pro-crypto, he's pro-Elon Musk, he's pro-Tesla. And I just think that it's going to be an amazing time when that happens. And I think that the markets are going to explode, and I think Tesla will explode. And back to the war point, I think that what he'll do is he'll work with Putin and Zelensky. Zelensky's already reached out to him to talk to him because he sees that the tide is turning. And here's the thing. I actually think Zelensky's pretty smart. He has taken ground in Russia. Why do you think he's doing that right now? Why do you think they're invading Russia? It's because he wants to have some cards that he can play when Trump wins, so that he can have it as a bargaining chip to when they end the war in Russia, to say, I'll give you back some of your territory, give me back some of mine. So I think that what they're doing, trying to invade into Russia, is brilliant. But I think that Trump will help facilitate that. That's his goal. And whether it's a piss tape or whatever it is, I want to see the war end in that region. I don't care about a lot of the details around it. Putin is devastated. He won't be able to establish any major wars with anybody. Most of Europe, especially places like Poland, have increased their military budgets and are arming to the teeth. So Putin is essentially a dead president. Like, he can't do anything anymore. He's already had an attempted overthrow once, right? So there's nothing he can do. So we're going to end that war, and then Israel's going to wrap up what's going on in Gaza. That's already happening. And then that takes away, if Russia isn't in an active war against the West, and they're trying to rebuild some of their situation and the problems they have, because they're devastated. Their economy is devastated. I think a lot of people don't pay attention to this, but they are truly fucked. And they're heavily dependent, like completely dependent on China right now. And that's not a place Putin wants to be under. So I actually think, long story short, without getting too political, that we see a greater amount of peace over the short term. And so I don't know if Palantir is the play right now. Now, you are right, though. Whoever said that, or continue, Albert, you are right, though. If I'm wrong about this, my thesis is wrong, and we end up having an invasion of Taiwan, Palantir will be the better play over the short term. I agree with that. For probably like a year or something. I agree with that. Because Tesla would get hurt by that happening. Because of their facilities that are in China. So I 100% agree. I just don't think that's the likely scenario. All right, jumping real quick. Thomas, great follow. He's talking about, is global liquidity breaking into the fun zone? He calls it the fun zone. So all he's showing is global liquidity has been depressed and in contraction. This happens. These multi-year cycles happen, right? And he's saying that we're getting ready to see an explosion higher, and that matches with cross-border capital and the way that he calculates liquidity. And everybody I listen to. And liquidity is such a huge portion of driving markets. If you line up the peaks and the troughs, and this is just, he uses M2 and maybe a couple of other things. It's not as advanced as Michael Howell. But if you look at it and you look at peaks to troughs, and you line that up with the stock market, it's freakish. It's freakish. You can go back like 50, 60, 70 years and see how these things almost perfectly coincide. Caleb had another good one today. He's on fire. Let's see, is Caleb at 50K? Not yet. You guys need to do your part. Get Caleb to 50K, guys. Caleb Franzen. Franzen. Let's get him to 50K, okay? He's my buddy. Now, he's on fire today, too. Oh, where'd he say? Oh, I hit the wrong button and this thing goes away. I really got to get my bookmarks better. Drives me nuts. All right, so he said an important and rare volatility signal just flashed, specifically the CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange Market Volatility Index, the VIX, just went from 40 to 20, a move that has only happened just 9 other times since the VIX was created in the 1990s. Why is it important? Let's talk about it. He said, in the 9 prior signals, I tracked a variety of forward returns in order to understand how the stock market evolved after this signal flashed. I love that he's doing this. It reminds me of Seth and a bunch of other people I follow. Across the board, average forward returns are positive with a high effectiveness through 1-year returns are below average. So he said VIX spikes tend to occur in clusters because volatility is rising for a fundamental reason that doesn't often just disappear. This can form a cloud of bad news around markets like what was seen in 1999, 2002, 2008, or 2012, and 2018 cases. However, the long-term investors greatly benefited. If you were around in 2018, it got real dark for a period of time, and then it just flipped. And then everything just went to the moon. And I think that same kind of thing's happening now. Let me see. I'm going to try and get caught up. Alex Garcia, do you see Tesla closing in the gap in the 140s before ripping higher? Great question. Let's look at Tesla real quick. So we're in between the 200 moving average, always in orange, guys. If you guys don't know my charts yet, purple is the 50 moving average. That's the shortest time frame. It's going to move the quickest. The yellow is the 100, and then this dark orange brown is the 200 moving average. Right now, we're grinding between the 200 and the 100. I would normally say that this looks bearish and it looks like something that's going to break down, but I really don't think it is. The daily is not that bad. Now, could we go lower? There's this gap all the way down here into the 140s. Could that happen? Maybe. And I'm ready to buy if it does, but I just don't see it with October 10th coming and seeing how insane full self-driving is right now. And the fact that we're going to have 1 or 2 vehicle releases, and the fact that we're going to be talking about these Teslas actually driving themselves without a driver in multiple major cities around the country. I just don't see a strong breakdown in Tesla without what Albert was talking about, war. Silas, MB, unless Optimus soldiers. Yeah, that's true. Let's hope that never happens. Ryan R, ha. I love Elon X. He's so funny. Daryl Farrell. Palantir market cap very low compared to Tesla. True, but you also have to realize that the difference between what Tesla is building right now and what Palantir is building. And Palantir is doing great. I don't want to disparage them. It's just not in the same ballpark right now. And I made that same argument about Palantir, the whole like tiny market cap against the big one. I've got some posts about it. I just did that back like in 2020, beginning of 2023. Like March of 2023, and then I made 600% off of it. So I do agree, there's a lot of good stuff there. I wouldn't conflate that it's on the level that Tesla is. Nobody is. Nobody. And the quicker people learn that, the better. Alex Garcia, Jesse, I'm starting to believe Kamala might win. She won't, dude. You got to watch my political videos so you can understand the truth. Albert, 100% Jesse, when going to peace talks, Ukraine must have some leverage. Kursk offensive provides that. Exactly, like, it's really smart. Because here's the thing. Ukrainian and Russian people are both dying like crazy. And a lot of the people on the front line are like young fucking kids and old people. They're not the people that volunteered for this war. And wars are always fought by the people at the top. And there's always one side that's more wrong than the other. I don't even give a shit about any of it. It has to come to an end. And Ukraine's using it as leverage. And that's smart. That's what they should do. Chris DeSantis, interesting point about Ukraine taking Russia territory for bargaining. It's exactly what they're doing. Luke Automata, we desperately need Trump to win. I believe that's very true. And I think the fact that the European Union is trying to censor Trump on the X platform is an indication of how badly the elites want to silence him. And a lot of people don't realize this. There's a video I need you guys to watch. Before we go further down this U.S. economic thing, I just need you to see this just real quick. because I don't know how many people are actually going to see it. But it's super important. And it's a concept that I don't think a lot of people, this is the asshole that's trying to censor Trump right now from the European Union. But there's something I need to show you, and thank you for dealing with me here. You got to hear this, okay? Here's what you need to know. The majority of rich people in tech are liberals. The majority of rich people are liberals. And everybody thinks it's the conservatives and that they need to be ate, right? Ocasio-Cortez, like, oh, eat the rich. It's bullshit. You're all being fucking played. Listen to this right here. I don't even know who this politician is. But this is an amazing conversation that I think speaks a lot to what's happening in the political world over the last decade. And I'm sorry for bringing it up now, but I have to, like, I want you guys to see this. So here we go.
Like close to being a fascist, and then like.
Okay. How am I?
Sorry.
Let's go through this. How am I a fascist?
Dude, like
Can you name one thing I believe that's fascist?
you believe that like you on. Oh, shit.
Don't boo him. Let him think.
But
I'm such a bad fascist. I let the people who disagree in open mic to talk to me for 2 hours uninterrupted.
Okay.
I'm an awful fascist. I'm more like a free speech liberal of the 1970s, not a fascist.
But I just want to say Turning Point USA is a evil company that was funded by thousands of fracking companies, and that just.
No, it's not thousands, but we do have some frackers that give us money. But
Yeah, and then all it is
but I don't
making
know how
the
we went
rich
from
more rich.
fascism to fracking.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, again, I'm happy to have a debate. I can see you're getting kind of fired up.
I'm sorry.
So, but why are we evil? Like, we're having a nice discussion.
Because
all of a sudden you're
don't-
calling me like
because
a
it
fascist.
seems like you just want the rich get even more rich. Like
we haven't talked about the rich at all. I mean, so you don't even know my positions on this stuff at all. And by the way,
Dude,
just so we're clear, the wealthiest counties in the country all vote for Democrats. You know that, right? 8 out of 10 of the wealthiest counties in the country vote for Democrats. The wealthiest people, absent Elon Musk, are all on the left. Jeff Bezos, George Soros, Mark Benioff, Mark
Elon Musk
Zuckerberg,
on the
Laureen
left?
Powell Jobs. On the left, yes.
Yeah, so do you ever think of it that way? Especially if you're liberal? Again, I voted for Joe Biden last election. There's this huge narrative about all the rich people are trying to control us coming from the liberal side, the Democratic side, right? And yet, this isn't a lie, what he talked about. That's not very complimentary where I froze him there. I'm sorry, dude. This isn't a lie for what Charlie Kirk was saying. It's true. Jeff Bezos, liberal. The heads of Google, liberal. The vast majority of the tech field that has been birthed out of Silicon Valley and out of California is all very liberal. Think about all the liberal, rich actors that live in California. Think about all... There is so much wealth on the liberal side, but they want to paint it as therefore the common man, when really they're just a bunch of oligarchs. And so, again, let's let them finish.
The richer you are, the more likely you are to be a Democrat and on the left.
explain that to me, please.
The numbers speak for itself. The Democrats are the party of the oligarchy. Can you name one tech CEO outside of Elon Musk that is a conservative?
I personally think. Let me think. Peter Thiel.
Yeah, that's one. That's one. Larry Page, Google, on the left, worth $120 billion. Sergey Brin, Google, $130 billion on the left. Laureen Powell Jobs, Mackenzie Bezos, Jeff Bezos.
If they're on the left, what has
George
they done
Soros,
that
just a
was,
billion
like,
other people.
quote unquote, to do the left stuff?
Well, okay, so Larry Page gives money to left-wing NGOs all the time.
Like, if you're on the left, I don't think you will ever be this rich.
Well, they are. You know why? Because the
But
left
because they're not.
No, here's the
Because they're
thing.
not.
The left is a scam. The left uses
How
peop-
is this
Let
scam?
me tell you why. It's a good question, actually. The left uses people like you that think that, oh, we're going to fight the rich. Well, they protect their oligarchy. While you guys have to keep on working hard and never own anything, when we conservatives are the ones that actually want to restore the American middle class and bring jobs back to this country.
How would you
And
restore-
Let me finish. The left uses people like you every day, and they use people on you by the trans thing, the abortion thing. Keep voting for us because the fascists are going to take your rights away. When who's funding the left? The richest people. George Soros. Do you know who George Soros is?
Who is funding? Dude, I have never seen a leftist
Again,
organization come to campus spreading their propagandas?
because the whole university is a leftist organization
No, it's
spreading
not.
propaganda.
It's liberal. Left. There
Yeah,
is a
but-
clear-cut difference
but-
between
but
a
it-
left.
I won't go through all of this, but there's a reason I'm speaking to this, because when you look at donations for the last election for Biden, they were astronomically higher, and Microsoft, Google, Meta, all these organizations are right at the top. Along again with almost all of mainstream media, along with some of the banking sector, along with a bunch of liberal states, mostly California. Huge money come from California. These people are working to basically frame narratives that they can use against the other side. And there's something like a 20-to-1 number of liberal media sites versus conservative ones in the mainstream legacy media. So until I started opening my eyes and listening to what was happening on X after Elon Musk took over, I didn't know what was going on in the world. I bought into everything, because it's the only thing you could really find. And the little 10-second clips about Trump, drinking bleach and all these things that you take out of context to make him into a moron. The same way that people do on the right to try and make Kamala look like a moron. I kind of think she is, but whatever. A lot of it is taken out of context. People take these things out of context so that they can give you little sound bites, so that they can try and manipulate what you fucking think, so that your reality is different than what is real. And you have to understand this. If this wasn't true, why the hell is the head of the European Union trying to censor what Elon Musk is saying tonight? And why a month ago did they try and establish a secret deal with X, with Linda Yaccarino and Elon Musk, to be able to censor behind the scenes and give them money if they would just do their bidding? And who took this offer? I guess Facebook and Google, because they haven't said anything about it, right? This is the world we live in. All right. The Cybertruck is fucking great. Thank you, Bogdan. Thank you very much for asking. I'm getting my spare tire and like a jack and stuff for it. It's going to be fucking awesome. All right, let's keep moving down. Let's get through the U.S. economic stuff. But I just want you guys to understand, that if you don't understand, if you've always lived on the left and you don't believe you're being lied to, and you think Donald Trump is Hitler, you need to look at what your fucking party is doing right now. Sorry about that. Your party, the same kind of people right now that are censoring what people say in the UK, that are arresting them and putting them in fucking prison for years because they shared a meme people didn't like. Those same fucking people want to take your freedom right now. And his name is Tim Waltz. And he doesn't believe in freedom of speech, and he believes in accuracy of information. Who fucking gets to decide that? Sorry, I'm pissed. I'm moving on. Oh, hey guys, all you people who want your income to be raised, right? You want your minimum wage to be raised. Here it is. This is the robot that takes your fucking job when you want $20 an hour for your minimum pay. All right. Copper inventories have jumped to the highest level in more than 4 years, signaling weak demand in Asia. China's stockpile of copper is also at the highest levels it's ever been. Why? Why are they stocking up on copper? Somebody please tell me. All right, Seth Golden. Ned Davis research confirms still much time on the bull market clock. New cycle high in 52 weeks set on July 19th, and the S&P peaks tend to take place a median of 44 weeks after this breadth achievement. So what he's telling you is we got a long fucking time for this market, and that lines up with everything else I'm seeing. The fearmongers will tell you that that's not happening. Ryan Detrick. Last week we were promised a crash and a recession. Do you guys remember that? Did you guys hear about the Japanese yen carry trade and how it was going to destroy the U.S. and the entire financial system? Where'd it go? Did everybody forget about that? It's supposedly 75% unwound, and everything's okay. And we know a nice secret deal happened between the U.S. and the Japanese Federal Reserve, and so everything's okay now. And I told you that was going to happen because we can Band-Aid shit all day long. eventually things have come to fruition, but not right now. Not after 2008. All right, last week, let me continue with this. Last week we were promised a recession and a crash. It started off with the worst day since September of 2022. Then Thursday saw the best day since November of 2022. In the end, stocks finished exactly flat. Isn't that interesting? And like I told you, we're seeing bond volatility dying. We're seeing the VIX dying. We're seeing stabilization across markets. Maybe that's sending some kind of signal that things are changing. All right, Ryan again. S&P fell at least 1% on Thursday and Friday and Monday. Not fun, but higher 3 months later, 90% of the time, and up 10% on average should help. Again, oversold conditions bringing us higher. All right, my buddy Kobayashi letter. He is a doomer and gloomer, but I love him. He provides pretty good information. He said, breaking, U.S. credit card serious delinquency rates jumped to 7% in Q2 of 2024. Don't ever say I don't ever give you the negative message too, okay? The highest level since 2011. That seems pretty scary. Since 2022, delinquencies of 90 days plus have more than doubled. At the same time, auto loan serious delinquencies surged to 3%, their highest in 14 years. Currently, there are over 600 million credit card accounts and 110 million auto loans accounts in the U.S., according to the New York Fed data. That means 42 million credit cards and 3.3 million auto loan accounts are on the brink of default. Financial pressure on U.S. consumers continues to rise. Now, I will agree with that. That is a true statement. We are seeing those things, okay? But here's the difference that he's not pointing out, is that credit card delinquencies, they are at a higher rate, but a lot of this, almost all of it, is on the lower end of America. And we're talking about bringing rates down. So if we bring rates down, then these people can refinance. They can do things to settle this debt. They can even just do that with their existing. They can let it charge off and settle for pennies on the dollar. Credit card debt does not really destroy people, right? They can pay high interest rates. Eventually, they just stop paying on it. But it doesn't destroy the consumer because it's not tied to anything real. So that's one important thing to know. I'm going to skip ads here because I don't want to forget this. And again, let's look at other things, though. Let's look at mortgages. They're ticking up, but let's look at where mortgage delinquencies were. Now, mortgages, I would argue, are a much higher dollar amount asset. And much because of their slow churn of being able to provide liquidity to the asset, right? You can't just take a mortgage and be like, oh, okay, let's go ahead and turn this into cash. Well, it just doesn't work that way, does it? Especially if people stop buying. Mortgages going up aggressively in defaults would scare the shit out of me. That would be frightening. And the HE revolving debt, look at that, where that is. That's nowhere. So you're looking here at a couple of these metrics, and yes, he's pointing out that credit cards are bad, but we know that the bottom 1/3 of this country to 40% are fucked right now. We know that. Okay? We know they have problems. But they can file bankruptcy. They can do things to settle on debts and still be okay, especially in an interest rate environment where it starts to drop. So I'm not as worried about credit cards for sure. And if you look over here, just look at this. Look at mortgage in 2008 and look at the delinquency levels that we saw. Look at where we are now. We're not even at the low end of delinquencies for mortgages right now. And this is one of the biggest parts of the economy. This is a part of the economy that is getting ready to fire off as rates drop. Because then people can start selling their houses. They can move like they wanted to once rates becomes at a better level that's closer to what they had before. And we should see some price drops in houses as they become more liquid. Right now, demand is high. People can't sell their homes because they don't want to build a new home. They don't want to move. They don't want to go anywhere because their interest rates are so cheap. Well, once the interest rates get better, they will. They'll be okay with selling their home. They'll put more inventory on the market. And so you'll see the housing sector start to take off. And that will be beneficial towards the economy. Look at student loan debt. Look at the default rates on student loan debt. You could probably thank Biden for a lot of that, for forgiving a ton of it. But either way, it's down towards nothing. So yes, two of these factors are high. And we've known that for a long time, and I've been talking about it for ages. But the others aren't even close to where they were at the lows in 2008. So it is important to put things in perspective. Cross-border capital says, seems capital outflows bigger than thought. Could reflect capital flight. Explains why real exchange rate and asset prices are falling. Is he talking about the U.S.? No. He's talking about China and Brad Setzer, a very smart guy who follows all of this. And they're saying that we're seeing capital outflows from China. That's a big deal. You don't want that to happen if you're in China. But if you're in the rest of the world, that capital goes to other places, right? So capital outflows in China, detrimental to China, but capital outflows out of China benefits the rest of the world, right? All right, Matt Suramanaro? Ooh, that's a tough one. Year-to-date path of S&P 500 forward EPS estimates versus the price, or versus S&P 500 price in blue. So the estimates for earnings, and we saw, or for EPS, earnings per share, are still going up. And we saw some of the violence in Caleb's other post on how much that was curling up and looking like it was accelerating over the next 12 months. And yet the S&P is way down here. That's not going to last. We're going to bounce. Again, my favorite doomer, Kobayashi. The delinquency rate on commercial mortgage-backed securities, CMBS, for offices spiked to 8.1%. Yes, this is a high number, but everybody knows about this. Everybody's known about this for years. Black swan events don't happen from what we already fucking clearly know. And in 2008, before the mortgage collapse, everybody thought they were still going to be fine. They're like, oh, dude, I got an adjustable rate mortgage. My mortgage rate's super cheap. Everything's going to be good. Oh, wait, rates are going up. Oh, wait, I own 4 properties. Maybe that's a bad idea. I don't live in any of them. Oh, hey, shit, I can't sell anything. That was detrimental. That was a black swan. That played out over months and months and months and months and months. But this has played out for years. We've known about it. And the Fed has already told us. We've already talked to banks. We understand what's going on in the commercial sector. And we're not terribly worried about it. Now, here's the thing. This will keep prices down on commercial real estate. And commercial real estate won't recover for a decade? Maybe longer? You know why? We don't need all these offices. People don't like fucking commuting. If anything good came out of COVID, it was that people realized that they don't have to be in the office. Does it help? Does it help for getting a promotion? Does it maybe make you do better? Yeah, all these things are true. For the go-getters, they can do all that stuff. Some people are just lazy as fuck or just want to get across the finish line. They don't want to go into the office. They can do everything they need to do from home. These buildings just aren't needed. And so you're going to see them get repurposed. You're going to see them turn into other stuff. So I'm just saying, like, again, look towards the people that solve problems. Look towards the people that give you answers on why things are going to be better. Joseph Wayne, the jump in unemployment rate fundamentally shifts the balance of risk to rewards. I already did this one. We did this before. We're done with the U.S. economy. We're moving on. And I'm done with the political stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just fired up today. That's why I was late. Hearing that not another country, but the European Union is trying to censor what I can fucking talk about. That's from the UK. And what Trump can talk about bothers the shit out of me. And if that doesn't bother you, you're a fucking lemming. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into some fun stuff. All right. I want to jump to Tesla. Sorry for all the excitement today. Test drove a Cybertruck today. Pretty badass. I want a taco-sided version. Nice. Dude, the steer-by-wire is crazy. I love it so much. RJ Cohen, man, I hate to be this guy. Jesse, I 100% don't like going against anything you say, not in a weird way. But what about the media? They're relentless these days, and so many people blindly follow. I know, it's disturbing. Shoeless Joe, stockpiling ready for war or sanctions? Oh, China for the copper? It's for war. It's for war. It's for war. I mean, the copper is. All the supplies of grain and all this other stuff, that's for war too, and probably sanctions. See, what people don't know is China starves if they go to war. Okay? So you're going to see like some Chairman Mao shit where tens of millions of people, maybe even 100 million Chinese people starve to death if we go to war. They don't have the food, guys. That's why they're stockpiling. MB, why is Glencore pumping if commodities are bearish due to China? I don't know what Glencore is. You'll have to help me out, dude. Again, thinly, everyone hit the thumbs up button below or I'll publish everyone's browser history. Thanks, again. Am I saying your name right? Tim Wolf, Soul TA. I can take a look. Glass, can you take a look at CleanSpark and let us know your thoughts? You know what? Before I get into Tesla stuff, I'll go the Bitcoin route. We'll do that first. So today, grinding down, whatever. This is still a bullish pattern. I don't think we're going to go much lower in Bitcoin. I hope we do. I don't think we will. CleanSpark. Again, the earnings wasn't that great. We're sitting under the fib, but we're above the 200 moving average in this nice little orange color. So my guess is we break higher. Maybe we break down first. If we just break down and grind over this way, I really don't give a shit. I'll buy more calls. Mara got hit pretty good. They did that. They did a $200 million convertible shelf offering, which dropped them hard. It looks like in total today, down 11.27%. It's probably just from the amount of shareholder dilution that people are fearing about. But what they don't understand is this MicroStrategy approach, where when you buy on the lows and then the stock and then the Bitcoin price goes up a bunch, you've just gained a bunch of value. So I don't think people are looking at it that way. They're probably very scared about miners right now because, again, they have done virtually nothing since December. And that scares a lot of people. When 8 months pass, this is the way Bitcoin works. If you're new to this, guys, it's the greatest lesson in human psychology you're ever going to learn is Bitcoin. It washes out so many people. Try not to be one of them. But I would probably look to buy more MicroStrategy tomorrow. If we drop down further, I'm probably going to pick up more. I picked up, I think, like $10,000 or $8,000 worth today. I'll do more of that tomorrow. Let's look at, you said Sol, though. Let's look at Solana. Or here, I'll look at Cypher real quick, too. And maybe some MicroStrategy, and then we'll look at Solana. All right, so Cypher, right at the fib level, just hanging out, just grinding, just trying to find support. Up 0.51%. This is the sweet zone where I keep telling people to buy. Right around here in the threes, and then also up here around the 418 range. This is just a really wicked level of support from the peak volume towards the first fib. It's just beautiful. It's a thing of beauty. So that's an easy buy in my opinion. It's a low cap too. Looking at MicroStrategy, it looks great. MicroStrategy is definitely a bouncer. You can see how much people are trying to short this by how hard it bounces. It still looks beautiful. It was only down 2.89%, 3% if you look at after hours. Let's look at Solana real quick. All right, Solana. Solana is a beast. Still up almost 1,700% from its low back in like December of 2022. So if you own that back then, man, you're awesome. You can see all of this level of support under here that's been given. So I think Solana is going to make a move to the upside to the 230s. Weeks, maybe months. Doubt it. I really doubt it. Bitcoin usually after the halving, it's ready to run. We were just waiting on global liquidity, and everything we're seeing from global liquidity is I want to go higher. Let's see here. Glass, can you take a look at CleanSpark? Let us know your thoughts on price, recent earnings as well. I think CleanSpark is fine, man. I think it's just they did take a hit on earnings too. Let me go back here. Let me see. They did take a hit on earnings, and I don't remember what the exact reason was. Does anybody have that for their net income loss for the quarter? But this is going to happen. This is everybody. These miners are ramping aggressively into a Bitcoin price that has been flat for 8 fucking months. It's going to be like this. It's when Bitcoin's price doubles, potentially triples, right? That's in the next 8 to 9 months. That's when these things will fly and take off to the moon. It won't be now. Now people are being conservative. They're afraid to get too excited about these. They believe they can make a lot of money in the future, but they're afraid of losing a lot right now. So you have to realize that this is just the little like mid-cycle winner right now, and it happens all the time. It happens all the time. I show people the BLX indicator. Let me pull that up real quick. So the BLX is one of the oldest exchanges out there. Oh, let me get my actual chart. My bad. Is one of the oldest exchanges out there, right? It's the Bitcoin Liquid Index. It shows what the price action was like eons ago. RJ, 20 memberships? You're insane. Thank you. If you guys want one, click on that little indicator with the present, and you're going to get a free month where you can comment and talk, okay? So thank you for doing that, dude. You're a stud. So if we look here, though, every cycle, and this one is off. This is interesting to me. This is very interesting to me because I thought this was going to come sooner, but it's not. It's actually like turning into a support. But you can see where we have this consolidation range at the mid-cycle where we just grind, right? And you can see some of it over here. This one we started going up. This one we grinded down for a few months. Over here, again, just the grind around the halving time frame, but we shot up quicker. This time we're not shooting up as quick, but I think a lot of that was in regard to global liquidity being so depressed around this time. Again, it shot straight down. Everybody started to tighten. Nobody was loosening. China wasn't loosening. The United States wasn't loosening. We were still talking about inflation. But now, yeah, RJ's a stud, Marty. You're right. But now the opposite of that is happening. The Fed now, do you think they're going to be talking about inflation in September? Do you think that? I tell you, sure as hell, China isn't worried about inflation right now as they have massive capital outflows, as their markets continue to get depressed, as they start to worry about their bond market. So you're going to see money printing out the wazoo because all these countries around the world need to do it. Because they're like, oh shit, we don't want to slow down. And so they're going to print money. And so the Fed doesn't want that. And again, so you're just going to see things change a lot in the not too distant future in regard to the narratives. And money printing will be one of those. I actually want to go back. I want to pull up Bitcoin real quick. Oh, there we go. Let's go here first. So again, let's give you some inspiration on the Bitcoin front. Vivek says every single time. Here's 2017. He showed a 50-day time frame. This one's a 100-day time frame. Whatever. It can vary. Again, I just gave you reasons why it should, right? So, and then what happens afterwards? It's to the moon. The same thing is going to happen this time, guys. We've never been in a situation where governments are this indebted and need to print. We've never been here before. This is all new territory. We're past the event horizon. We will print. Markets will go higher because the money supply is expanding and it's getting applied in ways like lending because again, the real estate market's been depressed for years. I need to just go back. This is one I gotta beat this drum real quick. I gotta get you guys to understand this about the real estate market. Let me see. Housing. United States housing starts. Let's do the housing market. We'll do the NAHB first, and then we'll look at other stuff. This isn't the best one. Let me go back and see if I can find a better indicator for how depressed the housing market is. Let me see. Nope, I'm going to do this. I'll do existing home sales. Existing home sales is a good one. This is great. So let's just look at this real quick here. Let's look at where existing home sales are. Let's go back. 10 years doesn't do enough. Let's go to 20. So we're at depressed levels that have been depressed for a long time that equate to what we saw in 2008 during the great financial crisis. And it's been going on for months, right? And now we're looking to reduce rates to where this can start to go up, to where we can start seeing sales in the U.S. home market. Let me see. New home. Let's look at new home sales. Oh, year over year is even better. That's what I want to look at. That's what I should. That's the one that's really going to bring this home. Oh, that's China. Fuck, I don't want that. Let's just check here. I don't remember the names exactly off the top of my head, so it sucks. It's not helping for what I'm trying to accomplish. Yeah, just look here. Look at this again. We've been depressed. So 2008, we started to see a huge uptick in new home sales, and then we just got neutered again, and they're traveling down in this range. This isn't showing what I'm looking for. Fuck it. I'll just do it tomorrow. I will show you guys. I will finish this. It's just not the representation. I'm not finding the right images, and I don't remember the name off the top of my head. So we're going to skip it. I will bring it up again tomorrow. Let's move on. Bitcoin Munger. I don't want to waste your time. After Binance whales are done filling their bags at these levels, we're launching to 63K TikTok Bitcoin. TikTok next block. So again, we have no liquidation hunts beneath us. It's just there's nothing there unless we drop it to like 57 or something like that. All of it is up above us. Bitcoin Magazine, we already covered this. Bitcoin Munger, distribution is clearly turned into furious accumulation. Get in, loser. We're all going to all-time highs. He posted this 9 hours ago, and he was just showing all these months where we saw that people were dumping. And now it's changing to accumulation. You can see the dumping in red. You can see the accumulation in blue. And again, here's that $250 million convertible senior note that we saw from Marathon Digital Holdings. Titan at crypto, Bitcoin third parabolic advance in progress. And again, you can look at this in a multitude of ways, but this is what's coming. It happens every cycle. It's happened since the beginning of Bitcoin's inception. So we've got 13, 14 years of history telling us what's going on. Cypher weekly chart looks good. I already covered that, though. I think we're pretty good with the Bitcoin stuff. Oh, no, this is kind of good. Preston Psych, you've probably seen this one already. It says, in just 4 years, Bitcoin has empowered MicroStrategy to rise above the competition. The Magnificent Seven have a 194% return rate. MicroStrategy has 995%. And Preston, very smart dude, he says, think of Bitcoin in 4-year holding periods. When you do, life gets interesting. And that just ties back over to what I was showing on the BLX, where you have these periods of the halving every 4 years, and after the halving date, you go up. I mean, look right here. Halving, boom, halving, boom, halving, boom. Neutered from the highest or fastest increase of rates in history. This one hasn't even started yet, but I think that 150 to 180 is easy, and I think we could go up into the 200s. I think that's still very probable. That's just because we were neutered last cycle, and it wants to go higher. And we have we're doing the opposite of what happened to neuter it in November of 2021. In October of 2021, when we started raising rates aggressively. We're doing the exact opposite of that now. And now we're looking at dropping them at the fastest rate in history while the money printer goes burr. So just keep things in perspective. I know it gets scary when you're losing money. I get it. All right, Tesla. Let me just see what people said. No problem, enjoy. BTC most likely will moon first rate cut. Markets want certainty, not guessing. That's probably right. Yeah, I see that. Silas, I think China housing overbuild could be like a black swan event. Now, for them, but nobody gives a shit about that. I mean, if you're in China, you do, right? And it's been a black swan event for over a half a decade. It's been a decade since they really started heavy on the overbuilding. And it's been a half a decade that they've been extremely overbuilt, and their housing market has started to roll over. It was starting before the pandemic. After the pandemic, it just accelerated. And they have enough homes for hundreds of millions of people that don't exist, and a population that's collapsing. So you're right. China is fucked. But that's not our black swan event. That's theirs. And it will unfold, but they can keep printing. They're not done printing. They're very good at hiding information. They've hid 95% of their economic data. And there's still parts of their economy that are doing all right because we're seeing record Tesla sales and insurance registrations. So they'll collapse slowly and then all at once. The Cybertruck guy says range extender has been delayed on the Cybertruck, targeting spring of 2025 for mass production. So I got to wait a little bit longer for this. I can't wait to get it. Alex said, Tesla Semi will be the star of the IAA Transportation 2024 event, which will take place on September 17th to the 22nd in Hanover, Germany. The presence of the Tesla Semi at the German event comes at a time when the head of Tesla's semi-business development production or program, Graham Carroll, announced that the company is taking steps to bring the Semi to Europe. Tesla Semi coming to Europe. Again, this is just everything Elon does, I'm going to post over Tesla, just so you guys know. Any thoughts on Coinbase partnering with CleanSpark? I'm sorry, for what? Can you clarify? I might have missed that. Elon Musk says Grok 2 is based. It's pretty funny, and it will be able to dynamically create memes from a prompt without any templates. And Grok Beta 2 is coming out sometime this week. And again, 3 is going to be amazing. This man is leading in everything he does. Donald Trump and Elon Musk live on X tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I mean, look at this. This company, X, the platform a lot of us use, was supposed to be dead. He fired 70% of the staff. People said it was a massive fucking failure. And all it's doing is growing and growing and growing and becoming more powerful. And now they won that they created a lawsuit against these organizations that were trying to control ad sharing, where they've had to dissolve and disband so they don't have to worry about personal liability. So, and at a time where Trump has come back to this platform and will be spending ad revenue on it. It's just like Elon wins at everything. Everything. Let's see. Sila said, Jesse, Chinese consumer spending dropping 50% will affect the way. It's already dropped a shit ton. It's already dropped a shit ton. But China doesn't really. Here's the thing. China produces our goods for us, right? What do we get from them? Tell me, Silas. What do you get from China? Outside of like cheap commodities and cheap goods. What do you get? Are you on their tech platform? Are you buying stuff on Baidu? I'm not. I don't give a shit about any of that. But yes, there will be rollover and secondary impacts. But again, this stuff is going to be slow. It's not like it's happening aggressively. It will hurt Europe. I agree with that. It will hurt Europe. Europe, it will hurt. The U.S. doesn't give a fuck about any of the rest of it. Not for a long time. We're especially well conditioned against it. And also, you have to counterbalance that, Silas, the drop in consumer spending in China, which has already been heavy. You have to counterbalance that with the fact that there's massive capital outflows out of China going to all of their neighbors and back here. So it's got to be a nuanced look, man. All right. Holmar's catalog. My God, just look at the brand damage at Tesla in Europe. Europe wants to censor Elon Musk in X, but they also want to buy all of his fucking cars. The left wants to arrest Elon Musk for speaking freely. This says The Guardian. An ex-Twitter boss said, I have a way to grab Elon Musk's attention. If he keeps stirring unrest, get an arrest warrant. Isn't that great? These are the liberals that people love and want to vote for. This is why they want to vote for Kamala Harris, because they want censorship to occur on the X platform. They want to see Elon Musk arrested. And if you're voting for Kamala Harris, this is what you're voting for. This is it right here. You're voting for Europe to interfere in interviews with former or current presidential candidates and former presidents. You're voting for censorship by the left on all of their media platforms. You're voting for people like this that want to see Elon arrested. Those are the people you're supporting. Pocahontas, Elizabeth Warren, demands Tesla board investigate Elon Musk for conflict of interest. This is one of the things that Tesla Boomer Mama has been fighting against and had a bunch of letters written to fight this. The witch hunt against Elon Musk has occurred at SpaceX, at Tesla, at Neuralink, at everything he touches. And it's all coming from the left. It's not a bipartisan thing. It's very much partisan. The left hates Elon Musk. There's a reason why Joe Biden has never said that Elon is great at what he does, has never said that Tesla is the biggest EV manufacturer in the U.S. and the pride and jewel of our country, has never said anything about 90% potentially of the payload mass of the entire fucking Earth going to space for the whole fucking world coming from one company in the United States. These people do not support Elon Musk. They do not support freedom of speech. They do not support X. They do not support Bitcoin. Whole Mars catalog. People want the Cybertruck instead. This is Yaman Tazdabar. He's a good dude. He said Ford's inventory has surged with the F-150 days of supply reaching an alarming 135 days. With $80,000 Cybertruck coming soon, combined with the ever-rising pressure of the Tesla Model Y on the Ford Escape and Edge sales, Ford is stuck between a rock and a hard place. Will they survive? Years ago, 2017, 18, everybody was talking to me about how stupid I was, whether they're friends or people online, for my conviction in Tesla, because there's no way that big auto won't fucking destroy them. And yet now we're talking about whether or not Ford survives. The only other company outside of Tesla, the only other auto company that hasn't filed bankruptcy in the United States of America. Isn't that interesting? Now we're wondering if they're going to live. This is interesting. It just talks about CNN's effective worthless after the... Oh, I think I talked about this one. This is older. This is August 8th. Let's see if there's anything more relevant. Tesla Chan, this is my buddy. Even though I talk shit about Tesla all the time, he posts really great... about China all the time. He is one of the great sources out of China. And he gives really good information. But he was just showing how battery electric vehicle sales, wholesale volume rankings out of China, and how the Y and the 3 are in the top 3 in the country. Remember how China was going to destroy Tesla? Okay, tell me all about it. Breaking from Son of the Walkie, for the first time ever, more than 50% of cars sold in China were electric. That's not actually true. I already talked to that one. Let me see. There's another one I wanted to show, and it might gotten weird. Oh, let me see. Tesla Model Y is once again the best-selling electric vehicle in Germany. The compact SUV is the best seller both in July and so far in 2024. Again, Tesla crushing it across Europe, crushing it across specifically Germany, crushing it, across China, and then also in the United States and everywhere. And then again, that lawsuit that Elon won. Elon is winning on so many levels, guys. And in 3 weeks, we're going to see the Starship launch again and see if Mechazilla can catch it with its arms. A 20-story building. So if you're betting against Elon Musk, if you think somebody earlier told me that they thought that the Figure AI robot was probably better, fucking A. Jesus, are you kidding me? You think they're going to produce a better robot than Tesla? I don't know how to help people. All right, let's go to the other stocks, and then we'll get to your guys' questions, and we'll go over yours, and then I'll probably chill out and eat for a little bit, getting ready for what is going to be one of the most interesting interviews, I think, of this year. All right, so PayPal. Well, we did go back down. It had a rough, kind of in markets, I think they started to pull back a little bit later in the day. Down 2% on the day, including after hours, but right at peak volumes for the entirety of this company. So I think this is a good support zone. I don't know if I'm going to buy here. I might, but it's like all my favorite things are on sale. Bitcoin's on sale. Tesla's on sale. There's so many things that I could get. So we'll see. I might buy more PayPal, but I already have so much, and then my favorite things come first. That's how it should be. Your highest conviction items should be the ones that you're the most devoted towards, and the ones you're putting the most capital allocation towards, right? Hood, I think actually had a good day, up 3.46%. Very glad I bought my 40,000 plus ish. I need to start showing this more, but I'll have to bring it over. I was a little late today. I'm sorry about that. But I'll start showing my allocations again on my portfolio. But Hood, I was up 8% today on my 35 strike January 2026 calls. I don't own a ton of these. I got like 43,000 in it, but it got me back into the Hood game because I think that 37 strike is not a crazy number when we're already at 18. I'm just looking for this thing to double. between now and that time frame, and that's a lot of time for it to double. For Hood to be able to go up. January 16th of 2026 is a lot of time for this thing to be able to get to the $37 level. And when it gets there, the returns are stupid. It's like a 4 or 5 bagger versus the underlying asset, which is why I love it. So I'm very impressed with Hood. A lot of good news coming in for Hood. Let me actually, don't normally do this. I need to do this more. I'm going to show you some of the recent things that have been happening with Hood coming from Amit and a few others. So he said Bank of America on Robinhood today upgraded their price target to $32. Does it seem reasonable that we might get to $37 if Bank of America is already saying their target is 32 now? And I've got, I don't know, a year and a half almost for that to play out, about 15 months. Seems very doable to me. Vlad, Robinhood crypto is officially available across the United States. Next up the globe. Cool. All right, these are old. We're good. That was it I had for Hood. All right, let's look what else we got here. SoFi, let's dial down the line real quick. SoFi down 2.41% today. I don't have a lot of this. I don't really like banking sector exposure right now. I think it's the riskier of things, and I think it will do good. I think it will pop, but it's not really my play right now. Square, kind of grinding along. Again, had a nice little bottom probably here. This is a nice jump, but we'll see what happens with it. I don't know. Palantir, again, I think we're toppy. I've been saying this forever, but I sold out like over here, right, in the 18 or whatever. Sure, you got a 70, 80% increase off of that. But at the same time, the bearish divergence we have, especially if you look like the weekly time frame here, if you look at this green line is representing the upward move that we've been making since like July of 2023, over a year ago. Now, if you look over here, we've got the RSI trying to push us down. I don't know where my MACD is right now. Just like disappeared. I'll have to bring that back, but it's seeing the same thing. So you've got a bearish divergence that's a year old that wants to pull you down. This is the same kind of thing I was saying over here where we had the stock go down for, a year and a half, right? And yet we could see divergence building up through here, right? You could see this divergence pushing you up, but the stock price had went down. Well, now it's just in the other direction, guys. That's why I'm not super excited right now about this play for Palantir. It's not really something I'm paying a lot of attention to. I do think I'll get it for cheaper. But like Albert said, if there's war, I could be wrong. I'll be proven wrong. So if you're betting on war and the destruction of the human race, then I'll be wrong. But hopefully we make money off of that. Is anybody going to be around? I don't know. We'll see. Now, ARKG, down 0.45%, but again, it's just kind of hanging out. This is a great consolidation we've had through here, going all the way back for the entire year. And we've got support. It's here. We're ready to go higher. I haven't devoted a lot more to this, so probably won't, because again, those high conviction Bitcoin, crypto, and Tesla plays are at the top of my list right now. All right, let's look. What do you guys have? I'll look here and see if there's any stock requests that we have. And let me just get caught up on comments too, and then I'll get into the rest of this. All right. Oh, yeah, Clean Spark. I'll jump back to that. Any thoughts on Coinbase? Shoeless Joe feels like they've been talking about the semi for years. Just want to see it. It's all over on the road. They've been building it. And now they're talking about mass production the beginning of next year, like really ramping it up. And then we're looking at building in Europe, in Germany. So you're going to see a lot of that. Again, Elon's overly optimistic, but you have to look at everything he's doing. You have to look at the energy sector business exploding higher. Let's just look real quickly before I just get to the notes and everything else. I just want to go back. I want to use visual stocks again just to look at Tesla, the failing company. All right, let's look at Tesla, the failing company. Now, if you look at this, vehicle deliveries, they topped off, but look at revenue. Look at revenue. Just hit a new high in revenue. Net income outside of this anomaly looks like it's creeping back up. And what you have to remember is that the auto sector has been devastated right now by higher rates. Elon told you about this 2 years ago, But higher rates have destroyed these guys. I'm going to skip ads here because I don't want anybody to be interrupted if they're listening to this. But look at the cash on hand, right? Look at the cash on hand. Look at non-auto gross profits over here and the growth that we're seeing within them. Look at the energy sector, non-auto total. Like, look at this. You have services like getting your car fixed and shit, and then you have energy. And look at how quickly energy is growing. So you have massive energy growth. You have what will be margin increases because of the fact that they're starting, like, look at this, energy storage deployed. Look at these numbers. Look at the operating leverage. Look at the supercharger stations. The profit per vehicle dropped, but it can go up just as quickly once rates start to go down. Inventory and days of supply is not getting higher. Historical margins, gross and net, have been kind of flat, right? But this is during a time that is devastating the auto sector. Used cars are destroyed. We will see most of the major auto manufacturers collapse in the next few years. I hope you guys notice that, know this is happening, right? And solar generation deployment hasn't been increasing down here in the bottom right because, again, high rates. There's just no reason to deploy solar right now. But the revenue by segments are continuing to grow, and we're looking at vehicles Tesla being able to charge $99 subscription fees for each vehicle at a time when the robot is getting ready to ramp, at a time when just all these things are happening, and markets are forward-looking. They're going to catch on to the narrative. They've already started to. We're already starting to see analysts that are raising guidance. This thing is going to take the fuck off. I don't know what brought me down that rant, but that's it. All right, let me look here. BTC will most likely move. Oh, we already got there. Feels like they've been talking about that. Yep, we already did that. Jesse's Chinese consumer. All right, CleanSpark got a $50 million loan. Okay, that's good. As long as the rate's good from Coinbase. I mean, that's not surprising. I guess that's better than a bunch of share dilution, even though they did some of that too. MB, Jesse, the number of X show that is decreasing, not growing. Where do you get... dude, I post it all the time on X. There is... I don't know what you're looking at, MB, but... the growth on X is astounding. It's like the number one news app across 139 different countries. Yeah, dude, it's growing like crazy. I don't know what data you're looking at. Maybe we can have a conversation some other time, but X is getting exponentially larger. Let me see if I can find just within my feed here any of these things. I don't know that I catalog them very well. I just kind of lump them in with all the X stuff. Let me see if I can quickly scan and try and see. Yeah. Like, here's one, right? So this is X, the number one news app on the App Store, August 8th, for all these different countries. Right? Like, there's no better news app. Now, social media app, you could still say that there's others that are competing against it. But let's look here. X is now the number one news app in the U.S., leading both the free and grossing categories in the App Store. Also, user usage on X, I think they gained 10 million additional people on the X platform in this last month. I don't know. There's probably more than that, but you get the gist, right? X is not dying. I don't know where people must be getting this from, like, mainstream sources. That's all I can guess because it's just not true. Kane, how do you learn the lesson that Bitcoin tries its hardest to wash people out, that it requires conviction? How'd your first cycle go? I did bad my first cycle. I did great. I mean, I made a bunch of money and I lost a bunch of money. That mostly, though, is because of the fact that I got into Bitcoin when it was at 3,000, back in 2017. Actually, it was probably like $1,800, right? But I got into mining. I didn't understand that was not the area to get into, especially if you were a small person who didn't have a lot of money and didn't have, like, great energy costs. And I didn't realize the rush that was coming. I did a lot of stupid first-timer shit. If I would have just bought Bitcoin, if I would have just bought it, I would have made 10x. And then I bought a bunch of shit coins, and then I didn't understand the Bitcoin halving cycle at all. I didn't know it existed because nobody was talking about it. So, oh man, I did so many things wrong. And then I ended up into the bear market cycle. I was down by about $46,000 after that had occurred. So it was painful, man. It was a painful experience, and I can show you. Let me see. Epic predictions. No, cool moments on Twitter. I think I got something in here. I can show you kind of. There's Elon Musk liking my Cybertruck. I love that one the most. But let me see. Yeah. Okay, so here's my low balances. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Here's my low balances. And I like to look at the low because I like to look at how shitty I've done in a year, right? I should have had one for high too, and maybe a median and derive from it, but I just didn't track the data well enough. But I did track the lows. So you can see where in the bear market after 2017, I was down $46,000. I fucked up bad. But I stuck with it, and I learned. I'm going to skip ads again. And then 2020 got better. 2021 got better. 2022 got better. 2023 got better. 2024 is better. This is still my low in 2024, and it probably will be. I don't think I'm going near this level. I'm at like 2.4-ish million right now, maybe 2.35. So I don't think I'm going to this level again. But you could see, and you could see though how this worked. And my high, I actually made 700% last year. This year sucks. I'm down like 30% or something off my high of like 3.3 million or something like that. A little bit higher probably, or 3.6 million. Yeah, I think I got there. So anyway, but you could see where you could see how I've been able to grow this and steadily grow it and repeat it. In my projection, I don't know if I'm going to hit 6.5. I'd be happy with 4 or 5 for my low balance in 2025. But I fucked up. But I learned from it, right? I didn't run away like a little bitch. I stayed in it. I figured out how to get better at it. I figured out how to devote more time to it, how to move my full-time job to part-time, and then devote all of my effort towards understanding the financial markets, really understanding macro, understanding everything about Bitcoin, literally learning everything. Because the other times I'd failed in 2008, and then I'd watch my dad fail in the dot-com bubble, those were just like, I didn't even get a participation award. I mean, I was barely involved and didn't understand what the fuck I was doing at all. So really, everything has come since 2017, where I have just grown exponentially in all of this. But you learn how these markets work when you're following them for 7+ years, right? You learn the cycles really well. And I'm on my third one. So it's exciting. All right. Let me see. Coinbase. Okay, you guys said the same thing. MB. Let me see here. The number of for X show that it's decreasing, not growing. Where do you? Yeah. Let me know where you get your data from, MB. I'd love to prove it wrong. CLIS, number 1 for investment properties. Chinese had to put down 30% down. They don't want to lose that. China has debtors prison. Oh, dude, they're so fucked. It's getting a little better. They're trying to work on a bankruptcy process. But essentially, you can lose your ability to travel, and they've done this to all their business people, all the small business people that try to create businesses. They bankrupt them during COVID when they locked their country down for over 3 years, and then not only did they bankrupt them, but they made it to where they can't get better. And these are the people that are the risk takers that make that build businesses and make things better, and they fucked all of them, and so they're trying to climb out of that hole right now. It's crazy. I don't think it'll be slow after it. Yeah, it will be for us though. I don't care. Again, I feel I don't want to say I don't care because I actually love the Chinese people and want the best for them. It's only like 10% of the country that's leaning more on the side of evil, and I think that's usually the way it is throughout history. But the CCP is evil. The Chinese people are just suffering under it, and they don't know how to get out because they let them have so much control. They have such tight surveillance systems. And then they perfected that even more during COVID, right? They used that as the ability to be able to really lock down on people's ability to be able to move. It's the most dystopian shit ever. So those people are fucked. They're fucked. But the secondary impact to the rest of the world is limited because they just produce our shit, right? Right? Like, they buy products. They buy some things from us, but not much. So there's neighbors around them, parts of Europe that have become heavily dependent upon China. that are going to get fucked because they put themselves in that position, right? Germany is one of these places where they've just put themselves in a bad position. But the United States has pushed itself away from that, and then all the capital outflows will help. And I've said some of that, so I won't repeat it. MBE Foundation Cybertrucks are piling up, though. No reservation needed to buy. That's not true. That's not true. There's no reservation, but they're still pushing Foundation Cybertrucks, right? These are $100,000, $120,000 trucks that they're pushing. So soon that will drop by $20,000. There's still over 1 million reservations for the $80,000 one. So they'll just work through those. The only reason the Foundation series even exists is to help mitigate the margin loss during the ramp. And they're ramping aggressively. The Cybertrucks are not piling up. That is not true. It's just not. All right. Let me see. Zoom info, please. ZI. There's a stock. Let's pull up a stock. Let me save this. And then we'll get through our list. I seem to have this one, but then I got Upstart in it, so I haven't done a good job managing this. Let's pull them up, though. Zoom info. So this is the Chinese Zoom company that ArcG invested in. Oh, man. I don't know. This is I wouldn't invest in Zoom. You want to know why? I get it. Here's the thing. It's a value trap, right? Because it looks like a great deal. Is this the next Palantir? No. How far did they drop? 90%. That's pretty bad. But how are they going to get better? How are they going to get better? And is this company still incorporated in China? Let me look. I haven't looked in a while. Let me see here. Looks like I got to type a Zoom. Zoom, ZM. Or is it Zoom Info? Wait a sec. What is Zoom Info? Tell me what Zoom Info is. I'm going to look down here. This isn't Zoom. 100 million CCP members privileged for life unless they annoy a higher tier member. That's true. That's 100% true. Thank you to whoever gifted a membership. That was RJ. He's a stud, Shane. MB, data on X coming from the most recent reports on active users and the fact that they can access Llama for free, which is limited. Now, man, I don't know. You should share that with me on X. I think that's bullshit. Every number I've seen coming out of X is beautiful and great. And don't get me wrong. I actually like the fact that Llama is open source. I think that's great. But no, I don't agree with that about the memberships or about the use at all. I think that's probably a narrative that Zuckerberg is trying to push. What is Zoom Info in regard to Zoom? So this is Vancouver, Washington. I don't even know what this company is. They're seeing decreasing revenue to flat revenue since 2022. They're buying back shares. They've got more debt than assets. They are not good at making money. They made $291 million in revenue last quarter, but they lost $24 million. And the quarter before that, they gained 15, and then they lost some, and then they had a little bit more. And I don't know. The forward PE is 9.76, but the PE ratio is 242. What are the estimates in this one? Not much better. EPS getting better. They do have people, well, Jesus, a little bit of buying in the last 2 quarters. Maybe that's a good sign. Short interest is 8%. Is that true? 7%. Yeah, 8%. Let me see what this company does. What is their stock-based comp percentage? It's 12% of revenue. And their expenses are ramping up versus revenues that are declining. I don't love that, dude, at all. That's the opposite of what I want to see. I don't even have any info. Oh, wait, let me see. Read about. Let's see what we got here. Provides a go-to-market intelligence software that enhances B2B sales, marketing, and recruiting efforts with a comprehensive technology and an unparalleled data on companies and contacts. It integrates seamlessly into major CRM, sales engagement, market. Oh, God, this sounds like the fucking company I worked for last time. I'm out. So I don't like. Here's what I don't. Here's why I'm out on this one. Like, they got cash flow, and I like that part. I don't like the rising expenses. Why is that happening? If you know more about this company, great. But I don't like seeing a company having its expenses going up while revenue is declining, and it doesn't look like things are getting much better. It just makes me worried that the forward PE isn't actually going to be the forward PE. So I'm not too super excited about it. Let me see. Ryan R said, fear of detention, that's how we handle things we don't like hearing, right? We just arrest people. That seems to be the new. China had the greatest outflows. The UK was close behind it. I wonder why. Why is the UK close behind it? Maybe it's because of that fear of detention thing that Ryan is talking about. MB, if you do stocks today, can you review Zoom info, please? A huge B2B that profit from its clients' adoption of AI. Yeah, that just sounds catchy to me, bro. I hear what you're saying, MB, but like, again, the revenue growth year over year is negative 6%, and their expenses are going up and the revenue is going down. I don't like it. If you can give me better reasons why that's going to flip, I would love to hear it, dude. Sealess from China, I only get the raw ingredients in my prescription meds, then made into tablet capsules in India mostly. Also easily replaceable, low grade semis and batteries. Plus, US gets more than Mex. Yeah, there's a lot of like, and there's a lot of. Don't get me wrong, China could be amazing. They just overplayed their hand at the wrong fucking time. But here's the thing: their demise could literally make it to where it's like, oh, okay, well, you know what? They're holding back on this good. Let's see what we can do over here. You know? So, like, again, there's going to be secondary impacts, and I do think a shoe will drop, but right now they're pumping liquidity, and we're just getting started. So there will be a demise in China. I just don't think it's going to be timely. It's not going to be soon. Shoeless Joe, I can't understand how Ford, GM, Toyota, VW, etc. allowed themselves to get so behind. Their software and design is a decade behind Tesla. All their management should be fired. Isn't it crazy? Because in 2017, everybody was talking about how stupid I was for owning Tesla. And now we're in that situation where they look archaic and they're dying companies and nobody wants to buy their cars. And Toyota is still talking about hydrogen. What the fuck? This is what happens, though. This is the natural process of companies growing and becoming massive and strong. And then they become complacent and stupid and they die, right? Japan was the big thing a while ago, and then they died. And then it was China, because China could copy everything. Now China's dying. What will be the next one? India, Mexico, other parts? Who knows, right? Maybe there's a resurgence in the US, but there's this natural process of death and rebirth, and it happens in business too. Samarth Gandhi. Hey, Jesse, I hope you're well. Asked a few weeks ago about Sentinel-1 stock, but your internet went down. Oh, yeah, let's take a look, dude. Sentinel-1. Let's look at it from the fundamental standpoint, and then we'll look at it from the stock standpoint. So Sentinel-1, indicator S. Nice customer growth. Recurring revenue looks great. Not able to make money. Problematic. Revenue growth, though, continuing to go up, and it looks like they've got a little bit of cash. About 800 million or something. Let's see, yearly. Yearly might be more telling. I mean, it's a growing company. It looks like maybe they bottomed on net losses in 2023. They're spending a lot of money on R&D. I don't hate that. I like to see companies investing in research and development if they think that they can do something great, especially if they're good at it. United States revenue up, international revenue up, free cash flow margins starting to go positive. Stock-based comp, 31% of revenue. Operating expenses still hovering above, like they've done for 4 years now almost, above their revenue. Now, so this could be an instance where these guys their forward guidance is actually showing that they might turn positive on EPS. I don't know if it's been that way, though. Do they constantly like say, hey, we're going to get there and we don't? But the revenue growth is interesting. It's like this company could maybe turn a profit in the future. But let's look at the actual stock and see. Oh, let me save this one too for ZI. Let's look at the actual stock and see if we have it. Yes, we do. It's been depressed for a long time. It is still a $6.64 billion company, though. I think that's the interesting thing that I find with this one that makes it hard for me to get interested in investing in it. Because the forward PE ratio is 302, which is rich at best. So it seems to be like these guys are doing the right things, but and they could pop in the future. You just really have to know a lot about this company because right now, I mean, it would have been more interesting to talk about this one at $14, which was a short period of time, this massive gap down, than it is for me at 22 because it's already a $6.6 billion company. Now, if all of a sudden they flip positive on net income and then their PE ratio, forward PE and PE start to look a lot better, then that changes things a little bit. But right now, man, I can't say too much about it. It's just, it's got a really rich valuation, even though it looks like that like they might be doing the right things. It's hard to say they are doing the right things because I like companies that are profitable. Let me know your thoughts on it, though. All right, let me keep going down here. Love your call earlier today. Hope it paid. I don't think I got demonetized from earlier today, which is the first time in a political discussion. I've only done 2 now that I haven't been demonetized. So that was exciting. So maybe I just have to keep the really extreme stuff out and maybe dial down the vulgarity a little bit, my cuss words, and maybe I can get monetized. So that's a good sign. At least it lets me know that YouTube and Google are not as evil as I thought they might be turning into. So it's nice. It's nice to see that I can get monetized there. All right. TFB. What's up, Jess? Oh yeah, no, that was that one. Sealess. We should focus on the Americas and the USA, Southeast Asia, and that's what we're doing. I think that's really what we're doing. I think we're focusing on that, and that I think that's a positive thing. All right, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. My screen just jumped here. OSS, if you have a minute, Chris. Yes, for you I do, Chris, because without Chris, I would maybe not even be here because I would have still been like deep in political shit. I don't know. All right, OSS, One Stop Systems, down 4.5% today. It's a $39 million market cap. This thing's just a baby. I'll do you, since you're one of my besties here, I will do you a favor and draw this out a little bit and not shit talk it right away. So that's the service I provide to my good friends. All right, so let's go over here. But yeah, this is a small cap, so anybody looking to buy this up, if anything I say today, remember that 2 of you could probably drive this fucking thing up. Yeah, I know I could. All right, so that's our lines. So we're deep under the first fib, got rejected off the .382. Hard. That was just in March. This thing lost like 60%. That's a lot, dude. So let's look over here. If you got any background on OSS, please let me know, Chris, and I'll try and look at some of these others too that you're talking about. Sentinel-1 is one of the cheapest SaaS names on EV sales. Oh yeah, sure. CrowdStrike's biggest competitor, so could benefit from customers switching. Ah, that's some good information. All right, thanks, Samarth. That's good to know. That might put that back on my watch list, just knowing that they're a CrowdStrike competitor. Because I do see attrition will probably be likely with those guys. All right, so this one really flat. One Stop Systems, Chris, really flat on revenue. It's a rec recommendation, or Rex. Oh, my buddy Rex. Okay. I know nothing about it. I'll have to watch the video, but I don't like it when companies lose money. They're only making $13 million, and it lost $2.3 million last quarter. They do have a lot of cash. What do they do? Computer hardware, Escondido, California. Specializes in creating high-performance edge computing solutions such as customized servers, customized accelerators, storage systems, tailored for deep learning, AI, defense, finance, entertainment sectors. Their products enable professionals across various industries to enhance their capabilities and achieve groundbreaking enhancements. That all sounds nice. But what I see is a company that's been around since 2015 that continues to dilute shares, that had one good year in 2021 where they made a net income of $2.3 million. Again, it's only a $39 million cap. Valuation is $30 million for the market, for the enterprise. Oh, excuse me. let's look here. What do we have for activities? We do have insider buying outpacing sales. That's good. Nobody seems to know about this if short interest is low. What's the institutional ownership? Huh, retail's actually a big owner in this one. I wouldn't have guessed that. Maybe it's been talked about for years and there's a bunch of bag holders. I don't know. If you guys know more about this one, let me know. Oh, good call for asking OSS. Rex had me interested. Yeah, I just don't know. It's just, again, the guidance doesn't look great. So what's going to make them special? He did Flux too. And again, Flux is one I own a decent amount of. I don't even know. It's like less than 1%. But these guys had all the makings. So this got me hopeful. The fact that it looked like the revenue had ticked up last quarter. But then Q1 is lower. And you can see where they took a hit on the net income. And it was going in the right direction towards positivity. And then it rolled over, which I don't love. And then operating expenses ticked up. But cash flow looks like it's kind of making the right direction. But this is another one that he got me interested in and that I bought into. Operating leverage doesn't look nearly as bad as some of these. They're only 4%, so stock-based comp for revenue. But this one, again, maybe there's some hope that they start to curl up. You can see a lot of it trying to do it, but the revenue needs to go up. And this one's like EV for like forklifts and shit like that. I think there's a narrative here for this company to do well, but I don't know anything about OSS. I'll have to take a look at the video and I'll get back to you. All right, let me see. Chris John, Wisdom Tree Cybersecurity, CYSE. If you guys have any like little tidbits you think I should know too, about a particular company, I might have to type this one out to get it to work here. What did it say it was again? Wisdom Tree. It's not Wisdom Tree, right? WT? Is it? Are these separate things? Wisdom Tree Cybersecurity, CYS. Oh, why did I just type that out? Jesus Christ, I'm so stupid. All right, CYSE. If I can do this right. Is that not one that's coming up? I might have to get the official name over here. Let me just take a look. I'm going to see under this one, CYSE. Okay, Wisdom Tree Issuer. Wow, this is a weird name. Issuer ICAV Cybersecurity UCITS ETF. Dude, I don't know what this is. Is this just an ETF for cybersecurity? I mean, the ETF looks okay. From a technical standpoint, one could say that this is a cup, and then if this turns around quickly, it's a handle, and that you could get a measured move that's a lot higher, but I would not take that to the bank because this is over well, I don't know. I wouldn't take it to the bank just because there's nothing I can look at. And I don't know the sector well enough to be able to tell you how this is going to do. ETFs are really hard unless I could play technicals, but it's really hard otherwise for me to be able to give you much. Yeah, sorry, that's about the best I can do on that one. So there's a few of you that are interested in OSS. Interesting. All right, very insightful. Okay. I like hearing where you came from and how you learned. Thanks, Kane. Kane, it makes going up and down for U.S. commoners feel much better about holding through volatility. Yeah, you just have to. Again, it's a confidence thing. You can't transfer confidence easily to people. It comes from experience and hard work and learning. So all I can encourage you guys to do is just do as much of that as you possibly can. Learn everything you can, etc. Data on X coming from the most recent reports on active users and the fact that they can access Llama for free, which is limited. Oh, that was that other one. I'm bouncing around. I'm trying to get the most recent. Let me see here. On Sol might be available on Hood. When will Sol be available on Hood? Probably an emit question. Yeah, that's probably an emit question. Or maybe Vlad. Sometimes Vlad can respond to me too, but he'd probably really respond to Mitt, so I would hit him up since they're like buddies and Mitt's posting provocative photos of Vlad on the interwebs. Dizzy Kodak, smash the like button. Thank you. Yeah, if you guys could do that, that'd be great. Even though I was late and disorganized. I think Chris said, all right, I think it hurts ETH this cycle. Should say continue to hurt ETH. What was that in regard to? They're hurting ETH, Chris. I'll try and look over at the recent one. Cooler reported earnings today. It's a technology company. What you think, man? KULR. Let me look at that one real quick. I'll go over here and look to see if we have earnings first off. It might be a smaller company, so I don't know if it'll be updated. The bigger ones are. All right, technology company. Cool. I'll skip ads here again. They lose money. They lose $5 million a quarter, and they made $1.7 million. So they lost 3x what they made. They've lost a lot of cash since 2022. They're doing massive amounts of share dilution down here. If you look, this is going up really quickly. The forward PE is 128, which is high. And it doesn't look like they're going to start making money anytime soon. I would say that this is not a great investment based upon the PE right now. But if you guys have additional things, again, I don't like what I perceive to be expensive companies, but I also don't know a lot about it. I've never heard of it. So, MB, can you look at Coherent as well if you have more time? Yeah, I can try and do that real quick. Looks like I'm getting closer to the end of the list. And then I might, it's already 5:10. I might call it here soon too, guys. But I'll try and get through a few more of these. Coherent. Okay. COHR. Okay, let me look at this one. From a fundamental, I like to look at it at a fundamental standpoint. Yeah, this is looking interesting. Let's see what their estimates are. So it's running at a 29 forward PE. That's not a crazy valuation. They're saying they're going to start making money in the future and that they're going to hit new revenue highs, but that's a couple quarters from now. They got lots of debt, 4.2 billion in debt and 900 million in cash. They're diluting. It's not crazy. Expenses have started to come down. Cash flow is like it's all over the place. Let's see. Is anybody buying? They're buying heavy since Q2 of 2023. I like that. I like to see insiders buying. It gives me some hope that there might be some reason for it. And the estimates look okay. I like the fact that operating leverage is getting better. We're seeing an expansion in revenue where costs, expenses aren't going much higher. I mean, what is it? What sector is this in? Industry, equipments, and parts. I don't know enough about what they do, but it's kind of interesting. I don't know if it's going to have an amazing multiple of return, though, in the future. Let's look at the actual stock real quick here. I'm going to make a copy here. All right, so which one is this? This is Coherent. What was the ticker on that one? Let me go back over. I didn't really pay. COHR. Okay. Let me put that in, and then let me save it. Okay. All right. Let's see on the daily. Wow, this thing's got a lot of history. A lot of history. Let me go back further over here. I want to see something else. I want to go to the yearly. I didn't do that because, wow, okay. What happened in 2023? Holy shit. Just look at this since the pandemic. These guys got hurt by the pandemic. Big time. Under 2.6 Incorporated excels as a global leader in engineered materials and optoelectronic components, innovating a broad spectrum of industries, including communications, aerospace, healthcare, from its headquarters in Saxonburg, Pennsylvania, with a global presence. The company specializes in producing photonic electronic materials and components, integrating them with advanced software to meet diverse customer needs. So these guys got crushed in the pandemic. They're a $10 billion market cap. The enterprise is valued at 13.6, so a little bit higher. But something seems broke, man. You guys will have to tell me more about this company and why I should be interested in it now. It's an EV play. Oh. What do they do? Like, how do they tie into the EVs? They tie in for legacy? Then they're fucked. If this is an EV play, like, tell me, MB, what's good about it, because they've obviously started to run off the rails. I mean, revenue is growing, but look at the share dilution. They went from 63 million to 137 in a period of four plus years. and now they're losing money at 259 million in a year in 2023. I don't know. It's just yeah, what happened to this company? It just doesn't look good. And if they're tied in with legacy automotive, I'm going to assume they're going to die too. Laser welding for batteries. Oof, that's a tough market. Yeah, seedless, don't bottom feed. I 100% agree with that. We're looking at a lot of really tiny companies or companies that have been crushed. I 100% agree. I 100% agree with seedless on here. I wouldn't bottom feed or try and find the next Tesla or focus on batteries right now. You got to realize China is pushing out massive oversupply when it comes to batteries, when it comes to like lithium and materials, when it comes to EVs. They're crushing the industry right now. So I could see this company just getting fucked from all this pressure coming from China. So I would not bottom feed. All these small companies, man, I just wouldn't. I agree with that 100%. Cody, what's the fastest speed you went in your Cybertruck? 115. But I think it's software capped. I think it can go higher. But 115 is the max I've went. And I've done it a bunch of times. Don't tell anybody. All right. Like whatever I can. RJ, open if you have time. Open, I'll look at. Yeah, I totally agree, though, with the comment about not bottom feeding, man. Seedless, you are spot on with that. It's just the right idea. This is just such a time where you want to be in assets that can gain value quickly and at an asymmetric level, and something that will do well even if we're inflating the money supply because of deflation. So I would not bottom feed. I would focus on that stuff. Open door. Now, again, will open door take off when the market starts to rebound? That's the real question. And this one right now, I mean, does it look like it was doing better before the pandemic? It's hard to tell. It was born in the pandemic. That just makes it so difficult to really analyze. Well, no, it wasn't though, right? Because they got revenue. They were purchasing homes. I forgot about that. They were one of these companies buying houses. So my worry is house prices could go down even though home sales go up. I don't know how closely they're intertwined with all of that stuff. But you could see how this company started growing revenue and really went up into 2022. And then when rates went through the roof, they just got destroyed. And I'm guessing their stock price looks very similar to that. I just don't know. Again, it's like, will they do better with rates coming down and the market opening up? Or since they own homes in their portfolio, will they lose value in the homes of their portfolio to counter the increase in home sales? I don't know. But you can see where, wow, this thing already, and it's front ran. Look at this, the end of October. Well, that's about when rates started to get increased. Look at what happened once rates got increased. It was the death of this stock. Real quick, it dropped, holy shit, 96%. Wow. 1.12 billion. What was the valuation of this thing back then? This is just the definition of the bubble that we were in before, right? This is how you know when you're in a bubble, guys. Look at this. In February of 2021, this thing was $39 a share, and it's just been devastated since that time. It's like Fubo, down 97%. Now it's recovered all the way to down 96%. That's detrimental levels. But again, I just don't know. So homes purchased, they're still purchasing homes? Ugh. I guess I don't love that. Again, it's one of those things where it's like when markets become liquid, I actually think prices could start to drop, even though rates are coming down and home sales increase. So I don't know what to think of this one, man. I got to think more about it. I just don't know if it's going to be good. Cody, what's the fastest? Oh, no, that was that one. Andre Cassini, Hims. I can look at Hims real quick. And Hims was a pretty decent company. I think Hims and like Celsius were like all the hot stocks that people were talking about. And then they just got butchered. But if you look here on quarters, like Hims looks great. the thing I don't like, the PE is still $61 or $61. Jeez, I'm tired. But let's look at it over here. So it's 61 is high for a forward PE. It just is. And it's dropped a lot. Now, could we be establishing a base here? I think so. From a technical standpoint, if we can get over this hump, this is pretty big. Maybe, though, we go down to the 200 moving average. But how much have we dropped already? We've dropped a lot. So this thing definitely came back to earth. And if the market starts to get excited, I could see this thing going higher. It did drop 42%. That's a decent drop. That's a decent drop. But it's up 484% since May of 2022. So there's also a lot of people that are in the money, and that can be bad for a stock because with everybody being in the money, and let's look down at these divergences down here. These are kind of ugly too, or at least the MACD is, because look at the MACD. Look at this divergence. This has been going on over here. I mean, look at that. That's pretty miserable. And so the MACD, and I'll just change this red, just because this is a good educational moment, has been trying to push this thing down since like April. And yet it's just went higher. So you got this parabolic move higher, and yet you've got, and I mean arguably, you've got this thing that's wanted to go lower, even going back further than that since like the beginning of the year. So you got this massive divergence. I don't love it. I don't love it because the PE is still too high. So I don't love it. ZI is the position with the largest increase in Druckenmiller's portfolio last quarter. That's all. I love Druckenmiller. So that definitely makes me maybe a little more interested in it, just because I'm so fond of him. But he also, man, he could just be like, I don't know. He could just be speculating on this one and be wrong, but he's a good investor. Where did you learn technical analysis? The School of Hard Knocks, bro. I just taught myself it. I don't have any resources or good technical videos. There's a few people I followed years ago, but I think I'm probably better than them now. I loved Mitch Ray. Crypto Kirby was another guy that I listened to. And then there's just a bunch of other people that kind of are more financial guys, but no technical analysis. But I just learned it over time. Time and experience are valuable because, again, you build confidence when you do those things. Otherwise, you can just draw a bunch of lines and you can be completely wrong. The area where I think I excel is I look at the macro, I look at the fundamentals of the company, and then I look at the technicals. And so I'm getting everything from the very base of the pyramid with the macro to understanding that. That's the most important part. Then I'm getting the fundamentals of the company. That's the next layer of the pyramid. And then I'm getting the technical analysis that lets me know, okay, the fundamentals or the base of the pyramid is solid as shit. The macro looks great. The fundamentals look great. So now these technicals, I can look at these and then I can make a very good educated guess on where we're heading next. So that's kind of how I do stuff over time. All right, I think, guys, I'm probably going to cut it because I've got in an hour and 40 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes, I've got to be ready for this interview with Elon Musk and Trump. So I hope you guys attend that. And I will catch up with you guys later. I promise to go through more of these and we'll get her done. But I'm going to call it for now. I love you guys. I really am excited about what's happening in markets. I'm really excited with what's happening in politics right now. I know it all looks scary as fuck. I generally find that these things work themselves out. And you have to remember, we still have great companies like Tesla. We've got great investments like Bitcoin that just have not run the way they should and the way they will in the kind of environment that we're sitting in. So I would highly encourage you guys to be focused on that and to think about the positive things that are coming. Hopefully you'll be ready to retire when Optimus takes your job. Love you guys. See you in an hour and a half for some of you.
Optimus, the robotic humanoid under development by Elon Musk's Tesla Inc., is sparking concerns around job
Sorry about that spike in volume. Bye.
Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Turned up to work and went to start my day. Was barely late, like 9:08. So took my coffee break. Then I got hungry, so I just stopped by the free buffet. But then to my dismay, I heard somebody say, Attention humans, you have lost You have not met your quota. Pack your belongings in a box, now it's over. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. But I'm in management. I work hard every day. I need these benefits. Health and 401k. How could they do this shit though? Where will I trade my crypto? I had a second monitor for Twitter. Where will it go? Somebody please stop the bus. I mean, not the fuss, but there's lots of us. And now you say you won't pay me to play ping pong because Optimus. I mean, who employs a damn humanoid? Some new droid for you to exploit. Deploy to destroy your human droid. No lunch breaks, great. Get a few deployed. Your time is up, human inferior to me. I'll take it from here, you're relieved of your duty. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job, I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon, he's taking all I got. It's okay, human, please don't cry. You can always go and become a Twitter thread guy. Make pretty pictures with Midjourney on your new PC. Or make some YouTube videos about ChatGPT. Sucker. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got. Robot just stole my job. I'm there like, oh my god. I blame it on Elon. He's taking all I got.